The way people ride for this man is wild. Also, not Instagram exposing Joey King like this. And like her comment section. But hot take, I don't think people would have this same energy if he was ugly. Now, I am by no means discounting his situation. I think we all agree it was grooming and it's disgusting. But whenever I see the conversations around him and his groomers specifically, there's this weird parasocial relationship that people take on. And I see a ton of comments that are like, she needs to set him free so I can have my turn. Or even stuff like, Granny Groomer needs to let go of my future husband. And it just sort of makes you wonder, would people be this upset about his situation if they didn't lust after him? Now, I'm not saying don't hold groomers accountable, but if we're gonna talk about grooming in Hollywood, how about these two? When they first met, he was her manager, she was 12, and he was 38. When they first met, soon he was 7 and Woody Allen was 42. She was his stepdaughter and they got married when she was 21 and he was 56. She was 14 and he was 25. These two first met when she was 12 and he was 34. They met through Al Pacino, who referred to her as his stepdaughter. They started dating when she was 24 and he was 46. Drake was 30 years old when he started dating this 18-year-old fresh out of high school. She had just graduated. And while we're talking about Drake, let's not forget the interview that Millie Bobby Brown gave when she was only 13 years old, saying that they texted each other all the time. Specifically, she said, "I love him. I met him in Australia and he's honestly a great friend and a great role model. You know we text. We just texted each other the other day and he was like, I miss you so much." And I was like, I miss you more. He's great. He's coming to Atlanta, so I'm definitely going to go see him. I'm so excited. When the interviewer asked what they text about, she said, "About boys. He helps me. He's great. He's wonderful. I love him." And when asked to clarify what dating advice he was giving her, Millie said, "That stays in the text messages." And of course, quite a few people bring up their age gap. She's 21 and he's 31. But nobody ever seems to bring up that she was 16 and he was 22 when they dated. So what drives people to go after a female groomer this aggressively, but completely forget and move past that Steven Tyler had a 14-year-old girlfriend when he was 27? Her parents made him her legal guardian so she could go on tour with him. And when people do come for her, even though it has good intentions behind it, the message gets kind of lost behind how people can be somewhat cruel, going after her appearance, her age. He even has his Instagram comments limited because when he posts a picture like this, people comment, "What if I pushed her?" Not only do I not think that these comments are going to succeed in getting them divorced, aside from their children possibly reading them, which is horrible, I actually think it's most likely pushing them closer together. You have to remember what establishes a grooming relationship in the first place. Like this comment points out, when you're that young, you lose your ability to form your identity. And he very much does not have an identity without her. In this interview, he says that in the 10 years that they've been together, they've only been apart for maybe 2 or 3 days. And those were the worst days of those 10 years. Even in the media, he doesn't have his own identity. Googling his name gets pictures of her. Instead of helping him, all this does is give her the ability to say, they're just jealous. Because after all, would people be this intense if he wasn't attractive? And would people be this mean and focus on her appearance if she was a man? Just some food for thought.